So this is my setup in the garage. So basically I have a shelf. You can see the laptop is here. I have a shelf and I have a oh shit button so I can turn everything off just with the click of a button because there's two powers. One's for the CNC and one's for the router. So basically the CNC control module is here and its power box is here or adapter, and then the other one goes to the router, which allows me to quickly turn off everything if things go terribly wrong. It is on a very solid shelf. I raise it up because these rollers basically allow me to still have my chop saw. So basically I can have material and I can use my chop saw. And that's the reason that it is as high as it is. I also built this little shelf here so I can pull out, and what I found is when I first started using it, the router comes out to the front, and when you're changing bits, I dropped one and I thought, okay, these are really expensive. I don't want to dull my bits by dropping them on concrete floor. So I actually built this little slide shelf to allow me to, when changing bits, have somewhere for them to drop and not fall to the floor. It is very solid. It's attached to the studs on the wall, and I made sure that it was rock solid. I could sit on it myself without it moving. And then the laptop obviously has to be close enough for a USB cable. So you could have it further from the machine if you wanted to, but part of the issue too is when you're using the machine, you have to set your zero, because your zero is going to move depending on where you put the wood on here. So basically what you do as part of your setup is you bring the router to a certain position, probably the bottom left corner of your material. You lower it down, and you're doing all of that through the controls that are going to be on the software on your laptop. So the laptop really does need to be right beside the machine, because that's how you're going to be able to, have the mouse right there so that you can visually inspect how low you're going, or doing your zero sets for the corner of the material. I have a little bin for my bits. At some point, I'm actually going to build a little shelf or something. You can see how much dust gets created. It's probably from the last use. I do keep the area fairly clean, but it does generate a lot of dust. You can see there's all kinds of dust just on the tools and whatnot, and that's with the dust boot. I always run it with the dust boot, unless I'm doing a contour cutout, in which case one time the boot did get in the way. There's two boots. One has the soft bristles, which is great, but you can't actually see what it's doing when you're using this one. And then you have this one, which doesn't have any bristles, excuse me, which is okay, but this one definitely does a better job because it gives you a good seal onto the wood. But even using that, you're still going to have dust that's going to pop out of this thing. For my dust collection, I actually purchased and mounted to the wall a little dust collector, and what I did is I bought a cyclone, so it goes into the cyclone. So, and then that's feeds off. This one goes to the CNC, have hanging from the ceiling. This one goes off for my other power tool, so I can move it around, unplug it, and plug it back in. And the bucket actually does a really good job because you can see there. I mean, that's all from either planing or CNC work. And the bag, I just let it hang down here, which is really nice because you don't have to change the bag with the cyclone. So everything just ends up in this bucket. So I can literally just take this bucket, go dump it out, and then put it back in, and I don't have to worry about emptying the bag. And it's a lot quieter than it was when I was using my shop vac. I had the same setup with Home Depot pails. So I had built a cyclone with the Home Depot pails, and I was hooked up with my shop vac, and it was very noisy. With the CNC running, the shop vac running, you definitely need ear protection. Even with this running, it's quieter for sure. I use some rubber to keep the vibration down, but this runs so loud that I still I don't have to. But if I'm in the garage for an extended period of time, I will wear ear protection. So I have ear protection and eye protection. I keep right beside here a box of screws, so they're all different lengths, and then a bunch of different clamps that I've either made on my 3D printer or cut out of wood. And what those do is basically, you can see that I have a couple of them attached. You can see that there's threaded nuts, I guess, that are on the back of my wasteboard, and so then I'm able to clamp these down so that they don't move. And really it's just kind of a compression fit because the router's pushing down on the material. You just don't want it to move side to side. You do have to watch though, because obviously if it's not tight enough, then it can ride up and start bouncing, and then of course you're going to ruin your project. But all in all, I'm really happy, especially with the height of this, because it's literally right here for me to do things. I don't have to bend down. I don't have to, do anything. I'm also able to easily view what's going on. So yeah, I've been very happy. I built this, or added this little piece of wood here, because I was finding that a lot of dust was coming over to the laptop. This helps a lot. So basically it's just like a little barrier to stop a lot of the dust. But as I mentioned, you can see that dust still manages to get through. So all in all, I'm really happy with how I have it all set up, and hopefully this video helps you.